Adelaide 7 News Early Edition with Mike Smithson starts now.
Hello and welcome to the 7 News Early Edition. We begin with the tragic news that a second child has died after a horror crash on the state's Limestone coast. 15-year-old Keziah Eichenberg passed away at the Royal Adelaide Hospital overnight with her devastated mother by her side. Mitchell Sariovsky has more from Mount Gambier.
The teenager went to Grant High here in Mount Gambier, and today staff and students arrived to find out the devastating news. 15-year-old Keziah Eichenberg sadly passed away overnight, her devastated mother Paula at her hospital bedside. She was flown to Adelaide with critical injuries on Sunday afternoon after a shocking crash near Nangwarry. Her 5-year-old brother Isaac sadly died at the scene. The children were with their parents and other siblings when tragedy struck. The chaos began when a black sedan hit an emu. The family slammed the brakes to avoid a collision. Their 7-seater SUV was then hit by a ute from behind. The couple's 13-year-old daughter was also injured. Their 6-year-old son suffered bruising, but is otherwise okay. Behind the wheel of the Toyota Kluger was Chris Eichenberg, the former award-winning head chef at Mount Gambier's Sorrento's Cafe.
They are very nice people. They are family orientated. The most concern is their family, first, second, third.
When children are involved, it's just really difficult to comprehend the pain that our families are going through at the moment.
I just know that the people of Mount Gambier's hearts are breaking for the family, having lost two beautiful children.
The family was already going through a rough patch. Chris was made redundant 2 weeks ago and was meant to start a new job this week. The children had been mourning the loss of their grandfather, who died in June. The Mount Gambier community is rallying behind the family. A friend has set up an online fundraiser that's already raised thousands of dollars.
Police are searching for 3 suspects who stormed a Parafield Gardens home overnight and demanded money from the couple inside. One of the intruders was armed with a metal pole. When the male occupant tried to grab it, an accomplice pulled out a knife and stabbed the victim in the hand. He was taken to hospital for treatment. Investigators returned to the property this morning and seized several bags of evidence. A man's been arrested following a house fire at Paradise. Emergency crews were called to Leewood Road at around 12:30 this morning. Firefighters managed to contain the blaze to a single bedroom. 2 men inside at the time escaped without injury. One of them ran off and was arrested nearby. The 43-year-old was charged with arson and will appear in court later today. The Coalition is considering launching a Senate inquiry to investigate allegations the Prime Minister solicited free flight upgrades from Qantas. As Josh Martin explains, the airline's former CEO, Alan Joyce, would be asked to appear.
The Liberals hope to call Mr Joyce, who would be called to explain his relationship with Anthony Albanese and whether the then Transport and Shadow Transport Minister asked for upgrades worth thousands of dollars. This political storm has erupted from revelations in a new book, The Chairman's Lounge, by columnist Joe Aston. The book cites Qantas insiders who say Mr Albanese would liaise with Mr Joyce directly about his personal and family travel. While many MPs from all sides of politics have received upgrades from Qantas, opposition leader Peter Dutton says he is not aware of anyone else having spoken directly with Mr Joyce to get one. The Prime Minister has faced cameras answering questions about the entitlement scandal, turning the criticism back onto Peter Dutton for accepting flights from billionaires in the past, and they were private flights.
Let's be clear about this. I've been completely transparent about this. All of my flights have been declared in an appropriate way. I didn't have to declare any flights on private jets owned by billionaires like Gina Rinehart because I haven't.
There are serious questions that only either Mr Joyce or Mr Albanese can answer.
The scandal casts a shadow over decisions such as Qantas supporting the Yes campaign in the Voice referendum and Labor blocking rival Qatar Airways from bringing more flights into Australia. The Senate doesn't return until November 19, so an inquiry can't be moved on or launched until at least next month.
2 people have been taken to hospital after a home in Sydney's Upper North Shore was engulfed by flames. Fire investigators are working to determine the cause, with initial inquiries looking at lithium batteries. Amy Clements reports.
Well, this is what is left of a family home here in East Lynfield after a fire took hold in the early hours of the morning. The blaze started in the garage and quickly spread, also destroying a caravan parked in the driveway. Firefighters initially thought people were trapped inside, but everyone was accounted for shortly after they arrived. Neighbours could only watch as the flames took hold. One brave bystander attempted to help, armed with just a garden hose.
God, I'm shaking. I've never even seen anything like this in my life. I ran downstairs and grabbed the hose. I think my dad was getting the hose out the back, so I got the hose out the front.
At first it was like little explosions. That's what woke me up, and screaming. But then when I looked out the window, it was just a massive orange glow that was coming through the trees.
Extremely intense. Any fire in particularly modern day furnishings and in and around a garage in particular. I'm looking at the damage from the garage door to some of the metal framework, some of the contents that has actually just been completely consumed.
One man from the home was taken to hospital for burns to his hands. A firefighter was also treated but has since been released from hospital and is okay. Detectives and fire investigators have been on the scene this morning looking at a possible cause. One line of inquiry is that a lithium-ion battery may have ignited the blaze.
As the race to the White House draws to a close, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are on a blitz of America's battleground states. Live now to Tim Lester, who's following Donald Trump in Atlanta, Georgia. Tim, how's the former president being received?
Hello, Mike. He's been given a rousing welcome by supporters here in Georgia, a critical state. This is a state, of course, that the Democrats won 4 years ago for Joe Biden in a very close race, under 12,000 votes separating the two candidates. And right now, Georgia appears to be on a knife edge. Donald Trump coming to a rally here after an earlier event here, and Georgia is likely to see more appearances from both leaders in the final 8 days running to the last election day for 2024 in the United States. Trump speaking earlier about his rival.
Then what she was talking about, the newest line from Kamala and her campaign is that everyone who isn't voting for her is a Nazi. He's Hitler. And then they say, he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi.
There is apparently a growing confidence among Democrats that this attack on this apparent fascism in Donald Trump is starting to pay dividends in the electorate. It was discussed today as Kamala Harris campaigned in the northern battleground state of Michigan.
He is focused and actually fixated on his grievances, on himself, and on dividing our country.
Polls have the two candidates inseparable, pretty much. The 7 battleground states that'll decide it, 3 of them at least are less than 1% separated in a combination of the polls. As well, today we saw the unusual sight of a US president going to vote without any aides around him, simply, if you like, being the common Joe in terms of lining up. Joe Biden now among tens of millions of Americans who've taken the opportunity to vote early. Mike?
Live there, Tim Lester. Thanks for that in Atlanta. Well, Emirates has made its long-awaited return to Adelaide, with the international airline touching down for the first time in 4 years. The return flight to Dubai will become a daily service, pouring millions into the state's economy. Hayden Nelson has more.
Well, it's been a wait that's felt like forever, but once again, Emirates' partnership with Adelaide is off and flying, only adding to the state's tourism boom. The packed Emirates flight was wheels down at Adelaide Airport late last night following a 4-year hiatus caused by Australia's COVID border shutdown. Hundreds of passengers were on board as the flight touched down around 10:40, proudly bearing the flags of South Australia and the UAE. There were plenty of tears and hugs exchanged from travellers arriving in Adelaide, as well as excitement from those heading to Dubai, who departed 2 hours later.
I'm actually just going to Dubai because I've got some work over there, and then I'm having a little holiday afterwards. I really, really didn't like going through Melbourne.
It's fantastic, and to do direct flights from Adelaide is absolutely wonderful.
Emirates' return estimated to bring in $160 million to the local economy and create 300 jobs. It couldn't have come at a better time as Adelaide gears up for some big events, starting with the Adelaide 500, the Pakistan one-dayer, the Tour Down Under, and the first of the summer test series, as well as an earlier Live Golf. The airline has enough capacity to move 4,000 passengers and 196 tonnes of freight from SA to its hub in Dubai. And you don't have to be PM to enjoy the perks of flying. Each aircraft will have a few bottles of Barossa Shiraz on board in a nod to SA and perhaps nervous flyers.
Man accused of punching police on Hindley Street and trying to grab their gun has been freed on bail. Those details are next. Also, hear from the mother of Friends star Matthew Perry a year on from his death. And a woman who became stuck between two boulders reunited with her rescuers. Yes, welcome back to 7's Early Edition live from Adelaide, where waiting passengers were treated to some unexpected music at the airport earlier. Steph was calming the nerves before a job interview in Ceduna today, so good luck, Steph. I'm sure you'll hit all the right notes there as well. A man arrested for punching in police and trying to grab their gun has been freed on bail. The shocking Hindley Street brawl broke out on Sunday morning. It's alleged the man threw a mobile phone at police before reaching for one of the officers' guns during the violent scuffle. The 25-year-old from Blakeview was wrestled to the ground. The officers praised for their quick actions. He was charged with assault and will return to court in December. It's been 1 year since the death of much-loved Friends actor Matthew Perry. To mark the anniversary, his mother has spoken about his overdose, saying the family will keep his legacy alive.
On screen, he played the Joker, the character whose one-liners always got the laughs.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
But off camera, Matthew Perry battled depression as well as alcohol and drug addiction for much of his life. Now, a year since his death, his mother has shared her memories of the star for the first time.
He went through a period, interestingly enough, just before he died, when he was showing me one of his new houses. He came up to me and he said, I love you so much, and I'm so happy to be with you now. And it was almost as though it was a premonition or something.
Perry was found dead in his hot tub at his LA home. An autopsy determined he'd drowned after taking a ketamine overdose. He was 54.
There was an inevitability to what was going to happen next to him, and he felt it very strongly. But he said, I'm not frightened anymore, and it worried me.
A police investigation into Perry's death unearthed a criminal network of alleged doctors and drug dealers who took advantage of the actor as he fell back into addiction last August. 5 people have been charged in relation to the actor's death, with the first to be sentenced this week. Zoe Martin, 7 News.
Hollywood star Colin Farrell has taken time out from his busy acting schedule to run the Dublin Marathon. He did it with his friend Emma Fogarty, pushing her wheelchair across the finish line. The marathon raises money for people who have incurable genetic conditions, and Emma is one of them. She has a condition known as butterfly skin, which can be debilitating. At 40, she's Ireland's oldest surviving person with the disease. The woman who became trapped between 2 boulders for 7 hours while trying to retrieve her phone in New South Wales has been reunited with the paramedics who pulled her free. Natasha Squarey was there.
Well, this story made headlines around the world, and today the woman who was pinned between 2 huge boulders for 7 hours has thanked the rescuers who saved her life. Matilda Campbell was away with friends in Laguna, about a 30-minute drive from Cessnock, when she dropped her mobile phone between 2 huge rocks. She ventured into this opening and slipped into a 3-metre crevice, but she couldn't get out. The 23-year-old from Newcastle was trapped upside down. town. Thankfully, her friends were there and called for help.
She was conscious and able to talk to us, which was obviously going to make things a lot easier because we knew then that we could sort of not have to rush.
Incredibly, her injuries were minor, mostly just cuts and grazes. 2 weeks on, Matilda thanked the people who got her out.
I'm just really thankful to see them again, and they've, well, made my life. Like, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them, so I'm really, really thankful.
Matilda says she might give bushwalking a break for now.
Still to come on 7 News Sport with Tom Wilson, and we'll get the latest on Chris Waller's Cox Plate winner via Sistina ahead of the Melbourne Cup. And one of the best stunning strikers helped the Matildas to an upset win over Germany.
Dishwasher detergent test. Tablets, powders, liquids. See which products come out on top. Plus, secrets from the set of Saturday Night Live. What really goes on behind the scenes of one of the longest running TV shows of all time. Start with Sunrise.
One of the early Melbourne Cup favourites, Irish raider Jan Bruegel, is out of next week's race after failing a Racing Victoria vet inspection. Champion trainer Chris Waller is unsure if Cox Plate winner Via Sistina will back up in the race that stops the nation. Andrew McCormack has more.
Well, just 7 days out from the Melbourne Cup, and this is what's up for grabs. One of the most famous trophies, not just in Australian sport, but world sport. And the big question here at Flemington this morning is, will Cox Plate champion Via Sistina run in Tuesday's great race? Well, 7 News spoke to Chris Waller this morning to find out the latest.
Gut's sort of just sitting on the fence, just do the right thing for the horse. It's all about the horse in terms of how they recover. And you don't really get a clear picture for at least a few days.
Chris Waller also with a host of other chances, headlined by Caulfield Cup runner-up this year back at Caulfield earlier this spring in Buckaroo, and Land Legend as well, who finished third at Caulfield. Also here this morning, nice and bright as usual, was Gai Waterhouse, the First Lady of Racing, has just fine. About a 40-1 chance at the moment for the Cup on Tuesday, with Jai McNeil, former Cup-winning jockey, booked to ride it on Tuesday at Flemington. But of course, it all kicks off with Victoria Derby Day this Saturday for Cup Week at Flemington.
A Kyra Cooney Cross wonder strike has certainly propelled the Matildas to a stunning upset win over world number 4 Germany. After conceding inside 5 minutes, Cooney Cross launched one from distance.
And this sort of moment's been coming. Cooney Cross is going to shoot from distance. Incredible! Australia are level! And it's Kyra Cooney Cross!
Remarkable. Claire Hunt scored in the 77th minute to seal the 2-1 victory for the Aussies.
Absolutely delighted by the effort of the players, the discipline of the players, the work rate of the players, and the attitude for 90 minutes. I thought the team did an absolutely fantastic job tonight.
It's Matilda's first win over Germany since 2005, which was also under Tom Samani. Manchester United have sacked yet another manager, with Erik ten Hag axed after a disastrous start to the Premier League season. The Red Devils are languishing in 14th on the table with just 3 wins from 9 games. And the Hurricanes opened their Women's Big Bash League campaign with an emphatic win over the Thunder in Hobart. Nicola Carey thumped a half-century as the hosts reached 7 for 141. Thunder skipper Phoebe Litchfield fired back with 51 before she was dismissed by some spectacular wicket-keeping.
3 millimetres in it. That is outstanding from Lizelle Lee.
The Thunder were bowled out for 110. The Hurricanes won by 31 runs. That's Sports Smitho. The Sixers play the Strikers this arvo.
Great stuff. Thanks, Tommy. Well, still to come on 7 News. It's warming up for the midweek. I'll have your local forecast next. Taking a look at the weather now, and we're expecting a lovely spring day today, reaching a sunny top of 25. Mostly dry around the state, plenty of sunshine, and 35 in Coober Pedy, 33 in Roxby, 32 in Port Augusta, 29 in Port Pirie, a sunny 27 in Clare, mostly sunny, and 21 in Victor, and a partly cloudy 20 degrees in Mount Gambier. Around the country today, partly cloudy and 19 in Melbourne, mostly sunny, and 25 in Canberra. Cloud clearing in Sydney, 23, a possible shower, and 29 in Brisbane, and a sunny top of 32 in Perth. Back home, We're in for another lovely sunny day tomorrow, reaching 27, mostly sunny, and 24 on Thursday, 23 Friday, up to 33 on Saturday, 28 with a shower or two on Sunday. And that's all from 7 Adelaide's early edition. Rosanna and Will return at 6. Please join me again at 4 o'clock. From the team, bye for now.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.